In this video, I'm sharing with you my fingerstyle arrangement of And So It Goes by Billy Joel. Such a beautiful song. So let's begin with a demo and then we'll move into our lesson. If you're enjoying this arrangement, please show my channel some love by giving this video a thumbs up. Now if you're returning to my channel, then welcome back. And if you're new here, then welcome. I'm Lara. I'm a musician and a composer, and I love to teach fingerstyle arrangements and song tutorials for all levels. If you'd like to support my teaching and my channel by joining my Patreon community, you'll gain access to hundreds of PDF downloads, including fingerstyle tabs, song sheets, and song books. The link is down below in the video description. If you're not yet comfortable reading tablature, then see this video link above, where I'll help you to get started reading tabs. Now this arrangement is for low G tuning, and next in our tutorial, we'll walk through the first several lines, step by step, to get you started. Let's begin with measures 1 and 2 at a slow tempo. We start measure 1 with the open 3rd string, then the open 2nd string, and then we'll use our ring finger or pinky on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. In measure 2, we'll form a standard F chord with our index finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string and our middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. We'll play an arpeggio or a broken chord through all 4 strings, with the 1st string ringing out the loudest, because the 1st string is our melody note. Then we'll pick strings 4 and 3, and now we're going to place down our pinky or ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. Then we'll lift it up to play our F chord once again, place our pinky back down on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string to end measure 2. And now measures 3 and 4 at a slow tempo. Moving from measure 2 into measure 3, we'll keep our middle finger in place on the 4th string, and we'll add our ring finger to the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Here we'll play an arpeggio through strings 4, 3, and 2. Then we'll lift up our ring finger, keeping our middle finger in place, and we're going to pick strings 4, 3, and 2. Then we'll pick the 4th string, and we'll place our ring finger back down on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Then in measure 4, we start with all open strings, playing an arpeggio through strings 4, 3, and 2. Then we go back to the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Here I like to use my middle finger. Then we have the open 2nd string, and then the 3rd fret of the 2nd string using our ring finger. And then we're going to keep our ring finger in place and add our middle finger or index finger to the 2nd fret of the 4th string. Then we'll finish measure 4 with the open 2nd string. And now measures 5 and 6. We begin measure 5 on a G chord, with our index and middle fingers on the 2nd fret of strings 3 and 1, and our ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. We'll pick strings 3 and 4 together, then strings 1 and 2, then we go to the open 3rd string, open 2nd string, and then the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. Now measure 6 is played the same way as measure 2. And then measure 7 is played the same way as measure 3. And next we have measure 8. So we'll begin measure 8 with all open strings, playing an arpeggio through strings 4, 3, and 2. Next we have the 3rd fret of the 2nd string using our ring finger. And then we can use either our middle finger or index finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, keeping our ring finger in place. And now we have the open 2nd string. And then keeping our index finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, we'll pick strings 3 and 4 together, and we'll end measure 8 playing the open 3rd string. And now measure 9. We'll start measure 9 by picking the open 3rd and 4th strings together. Then we'll place our ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 1st string, picking strings 1 and 2 together. And now we have the open 3rd string, open 2nd string, and then the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. Now here we have repeat bars, so we'll go back to measure 2 and play measures 2 through 8 one more time. And then we move into measure 10 for our second ending. So here's measure 10 at a slow tempo. We'll begin measure 10 just like we began measure 9, picking the open 3rd and 4th strings together. Then we'll pick the open 3rd string, and we'll place our middle finger on the 3rd fret of the 4th string, playing an arpeggio through strings 4, 3, and 2. And then we'll pick the 3rd fret of the 2nd string using our ring finger. And now measures 11 and 12. We We begin measure 11 with our standard F chord, and we're going to add our pinky to the 3rd fret of the 1st string, playing an arpeggio through all 4 strings. Then we'll pick strings 4 and 3, then the open 1st string, lifting up our pinky, and now we'll place our pinky down on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and then we'll lift it up to pick the 1st fret of the 2nd string, where our index finger is still in place. And now to begin measure 12, we're going to place our pinky back down, or if you prefer, you can use your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. Then we'll go to the open 4th string, the open 3rd string, and we'll finish measure 12 on the open 2nd string. And now measures 13 and 14. We begin measure 13 on an A minor chord with our middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, playing an arpeggio through strings 4, 3, and 2. Then we'll pick the open 1st string twice, then the open 2nd string, and now we're going to cover the 2nd fret of strings 3 and 4. Here you can use your middle and index finger, or you can keep your middle finger in place from our A minor chord and add your ring finger. Then we'll pick the open 3rd string, and moving into measure 14, we're going to form our G chord shape, picking strings 3 and 4, and then we'll play an arpeggio through all 4 strings on G. And next we have the open 3rd string, and we'll place our middle finger on the 3rd fret of the 4th string, playing an arpeggio through strings 4, 3, and 2, and then we'll place down our ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. And next measures 15 and 16. We begin measure 15 on the same chord that we used to start measure 11. Then we'll pick the 4th string, the open 1st string, lifting up our pinky, and then we'll place our pinky down on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. Then we'll lift it up to play the 1st fret of the 2nd string. And now moving into measure 16, we'll place our pinky back down on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. Then we'll pick the open 4th string, open 3rd string, 3rd fret of the 2nd string, keeping our pinky in place, and then we'll end measure 16 on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, placing down our index finger. And now measures 17 and 18. We begin measure 17 on the same A minor chord that we used to start measure 13. Then we'll pick the open 1st string, the 2nd fret of the 1st string, and then the 3rd fret. Now you can use either your middle and ring fingers or your index and middle fingers on the 1st string. And next we're going to cover all 4 strings on the 2nd fret. You have 2 options here. One is you can play it as a bar chord using your index finger, or you can use your index finger, middle finger, ring finger, and pinky, covering all 4 strings. Then we'll end measure 17 with the open 1st string. In measure 18, we're going to place our ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string and our index finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, picking strings 2, 3, and 4 together. The second half of measure 18 is played the same way as measure 1. And you'll find that the next sections are very similar to what we've covered in this lesson. For more of my easy fingerstyle arrangements and tutorials, see this playlist here. I hope you enjoy learning this beautiful arrangement of And So It Goes. Thanks for watching.